All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Also want to give double honors unto the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Blessing and salutation unto the elect of Yasha, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the hopefully elect, the Akim out there enduring his truth across the four corners of the earth, and the men and women that follow, and those who might look like the other nations, but are of the nation of Israel on their father's side by blood. And jumping into a quick lesson, I was just reading in Psalms 4 earlier, and I'll bring it up real quick. And I had noticed the title at the top, you know, where it said evening prayer of trust in the Most High. And then you go to the previous chapter, it says morning prayer of trust in the Most High. So it reminded me of, you know, how Daniel, right, when he was up in, Babylon, you know, and this was during the time where they was bringing out that decree, all right, which it was pretty much, you know, you had to bow down. I think, here, I'll get into it. I didn't read it. I had got to the point. Yeah, here we go. I'll go to 8. No, king established a decree and signed it, right? Yeah, because you had them haters. You had them haters, man. And then you have them today. You know, some of them is even of our own people. Back then, it was, you know, our people worshiping the Heavenly Father and not bowing down to the idols of those heathen kings, you know, or bowing down to their certain decrees that would defy the Heavenly Father. All right, so I'll just start at the top. It's Daniel 6:1. I'm going to breeze through it a little bit. It said, it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and that excellent spirit was of YAHWASHI, man. We have to truly understand we are we are nowhere, you know. We are going nowhere, and we are nothing without YAHWASHI, man. It is not us. It's not me that decided to do this lesson. It's the spirit of YAHWASHI that he put within me. All right, the guilt that it comes with, you know, of not putting up a lesson. That's all according to the spirit, man. Because, you know, if it was up to this flesh, all right, that's why it says the spirit wars against the flesh. Shit, the flesh right now I want to chill, relax, and whatever, you know, but it's the spirit that the Lord put within me, as well as in you know, brothers around the four corners of the earth, that causes us to, you know, do this work. All right. So it says exceeding, it says preeminent, surpassing, extreme, extraordinary. All right, let's get some words. Let's see, extraordinary in the Edom Online. It's so weird that this is running slow now. Come on, yo. God damn. When you go to extra, it says extraordinary, being beyond or out of the common order or rule, not of the usual, customary, or regular kind, which is the spirit of YAHWASHI. That's why YAHWASHI was able to do the things that he did, and also why he carried himself the way that he carried himself, which was perfect. All right, he pretty much had the new covenant, you know. He had the law, statutes, and commandments written within him. All right. And him being perfect, he was a perfect sacrifice in order for us to receive grace to come back to the Heavenly Father in these last days, doing extraordinary things and having an excellent spirit as Daniel had. All right. To where we're able to understand the ways of YAHWASHI, understand his mysteries, his prophecies, his secrets. All right, be able to teach teach them unto the people. All right, and wake up the elect through his spirit, through that excellent spirit, through that extraordinary spirit that is being beyond or out of a common order or rule, because by flesh, we shouldn't be able to do any of these things. We didn't go to any theologian schools or have any degrees in theology or none of that. But it's the spirit that allows us to understand these things, just as it was the spirit that allowed Daniel to interpret Nebuchadnezzar's dream without him even speaking it to him. But what did he tell him? He like, all right, well, let me go let me go recuperate real quick. You know, which pretty much is he talked to YAHWASHI. YAHWASHI granted his prayer, right? Which is kind of what I'm getting into. Well, I don't really know what the title is going to be, you know, but it's going to get into a little bit of prayer, all right? Because even within that, man, the Lord hears our prayers, okay? Because our prayers are aligned with the will of YAHWASHI. He's not going to hear our prayers and we praying that America lasts 250 more years. For one, a man of the Lord, a true worshiper, all right, that worships in spirit and in truth, and is not going to pray for some dumb shit like that. All right, so you got motherfuckers talking about being here for 1,000 more years, getting 30% of the land, and it could be like, man, no. You're not operating in that excellent spirit, buddy. All right, so going back into that. It says, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the presidents, and the same thing happened unto Joseph, right? He was second in command, okay? Due to the fact of the spirit that YAHWASHI had put on him to interpret his dreams and save Egypt, but ultimately that it can save us, man. You know, that's why when you going through shit, man, just trust in YAHWASHI. You know, you don't know why you're going through half of the thing. Yes, it's very fucking frustrating. You know, being chastised chastisement don't mean just a flat tire. It don't mean it's just not having no money. It could be mental things, just overly stressed, you know, but it's the spirit, man, that keeps us going. That's why you got to remember to pray. Pray to YAHWASHI that he give you strength to fight through that, you know. Like Bruce Lee said, which I found a precept that was close. He probably got it from there, honestly. But he quoted, give me not an easy life, but the strength to endure a hard one. All right. Hey, and the Lord somewhat said that in when you go into even just now, like I was, you know, going through different precepts and reading different definitions and histories on prayers, and how the number 7 is synonymous with with like an oath, you know. And the thing is it's like that's what a prayer is. You're asking the Lord to do something. It's like an agreement, almost like a petition. It is, you know, it's referred to that in scriptures. Dang, I lost my train of thought. Where was I going? Man, see. But getting back to that, just like that, I was like, man, I'm about to just hit the button and go off with the spirit, you know, and through the spirit, you know, things are flowing. All right. But yeah. So I was talking about Daniel, and I was talking about Joseph. I don't know. Lord willing, it'll come back to me. You know, it'll come back to me. But continuing on, this is Daniel 6:4. It says, then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom. But they, the YAHWASHI. I was speaking of the chastisement. You know, it's not, you know, it's not fun when you go through it, you know, but it yields peaceable fruit. You know, it's about what comes after that. Even like tilling the ground and planting seeds and, you know, they prayed. Oh man, where's that precept? I think it's in Psalms 4 actually. See, I'm everywhere. Yeah, I'm everywhere. But I'm gonna get this because I remember I was about to go into John the 17th chapter, because we were speaking about having the strength to endure a hard life. And let me see. Yeah, right here. This is John 17 and 15. It says, I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna go to 13. It says, John 17 and 13. It says, and now come I to thee, in these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves. I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. So you will know if somebody is of the world or not based off of what they're teaching and preaching, man. If people speaking about being here for longer than we need to be here or want to be here, you got to watch that person. It says, I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world. So don't just deliver them with no troubles and just Scots free, so to speak. It says, but that thou shouldest keep them from evil, right? They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is true. So don't take them out of the world. Just keep them from evil. And what's going to keep us from evil is being sanctified by this word. All right. Following the ways of YAHWASHI, YAHWASHI. That's what's going to keep us from that evil. All right. But his spirit has to be upon us in order to even acknowledge his ways. All right, to feel that guilt when you don't get a lesson, when you're slacking on your reading, when you may have said something wrong to a brother, and you got to go to that brother and apologize. A lot of men in the world don't really like apologizing. Man, that nigga be all right. You know what I'm saying? But through the spirit, we're in training to govern the world. So the things that we're doing now is what we're going to be telling the world to do in the very near future. All right. So going back, Daniel 6 and 4, it says, then the president and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. And once again, that excellent spirit. And this happens, man. I've thought about this many and plenty of times. You know, many moons and plenty winters. But you'll get to the point where brothers, I'm pretty sure brothers are in a decent spot at their job. You know, they're either second in command, or they could be a lead or have certain people under them, or they could be a great asset to the company where it could save their job. You know what I'm saying? Just like he said, he thought it was good to put Daniel over the rest of them because of what was within him. And it's the way that we carry ourselves through the spirit of YAHWASHI, YAHWASHI, that gets us in these positions. You know, brothers got businesses, you know what I'm saying, work for themselves, work with their hands, and they're prosperous. You know, you might not even have nothing lined up, and then the Lord will throw something in your lap. But guess what? You got to get up and got to go make it happen. All right. You got to get up and go make it happen sometimes. Sometimes the Lord can be like, hey, in a situation where he said, hey, just go down there, grab the fish, and the first fish, get the coin out his mouth. You know, you could be hungry, and the Lord could be like, hey, just throw your net on this side of it. Man, we've been doing it, though. Just do it. You know, these things are happening and are definitely about to happen. Okay, because the Lord is about to tear this place up. All right, but he's going to cover and protect and provide for his men. You know, and a few women. All right. It says, verse 5, it says, then said these men, we shall find any occasion against Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his power. Right. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdoms and governors and princes and counselors and captains and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. So you can see they conspiring against him. just as they do in these present days against us. All right. And I'm speaking of, more so the elite. All right. They don't want this word out there. I will never forget when Elder Apostle Ramlab spoke about the story of the man that came in a nice car and a nice suit and was like, who told y'all about this? How did you find this out? We've been trying to keep this hidden from y'all. But it's the spirit of YAHWASHI, man. You can't hide nothing from the spirit of the Heavenly Father. It says, now, O King, establish the decree and sign the writing that it may be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. So they done pumped this nigga head up, got him feeling good, like, yeah, they should only do that to me. You right, yeah. Trying to set Daniel up. All right. So verse 10, it says, now when Daniel knew that that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and in his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times. He kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his power as he did aforetime. So this was already part of his regimen, his routine. All right. But he didn't let it shake him up or nothing. He I'm still gonna pray to YAHWASHI, and I'm not about to let their decree stop me, because this is how I'm praising my Heavenly Father. All right. So, and that's what I'm saying. And when you get into it, now, what if he would have not did it because of the decree? The Lord, he might have would have tried to do it after that and got thrown in the lion's den, and it wouldn't turned out so pretty. Of course, it was written and it happened how it was supposed to happen. And it was really for us to keep our integrity, to keep in our faith. Well, I mean, us, by the readers, whoever reads this, in serving YAHWASHI, even, men that came after that. All right. That probably was during the time of YAHWASHI that ran across that. Like, man, he kept his integrity. The 7 brothers and the mother could have read this story and it lifted their spirits up, and like, man, yeah, that was crazy. They could have been thinking about this when they was going through their torment and that kept them strong in YAHWASHI. All right. So I'm going to grab this as well. This is Psalm 55:17. This is King David. Prayer for the destruction of the treacherous, to the chief musician of Neganath. Neganith, Mashil, a psalm of David. Give ear to my prayer, O Most High, YAHWASHI, and hide not thyself from my supplications. And as I think it was the elder brother Amawan Gabar was just going into a lesson over supplications. That it's like you're begging the Lord. Favor, supplication for favor. Supplication for favor. Got the Hebrew word. Thakna. Oh yeah. Hanan. Yeah, it goes back to grace. Kind. I thought it was gonna get into a little bit more in the definition, but I'm gonna go to the point down here, and I go to 16. It says, as for me, I will call upon YAHWASHI, and the Most High shall save me. Evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. So once again, he's praying 3 times a day. But what I really wanted to emphasize is it's not about, oh, you got to pray 3 times a day. That's what you're supposed to do. They could have prayed many times outside of that. It says Psalms 119 and 164. It says 7 times a day do I praise thee because of thy righteous judgments. And we also know that 7 is the number for completion. Okay. So it's not like you can only pray 3 times a day, or a max of 7 times a day. You pray all day. The scriptures say what? Pray without ceasing. Right? When you go to 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. Salakia for this squeaky chair. Plan to get a new one. This is maybe, yeah, it's 17. Okay, 1 Thessalonians 5:17. Pray. I was thinking of 21 because I was thinking that it popped in my head through the Spirit. Prove all things, which is verse 21. Hold fast that which is good, which is His word, His truth, His gospel, the name of YAHWASHI, our culture, our heritage, this word. It's 1 Thessalonians 5:17. It says, pray without ceasing, meaning continually, non-stop. Keep going, keep at it. Look, pray, get in the car, pray that you make it to your destination. Give thanks that you made it to your destination. Pray that you make it back home. Pray over your food. Pray for brothers. Pray for Akim. Pray, put up your curses. Pray this place go down. So on and so forth. Pray the Lord speed the times up. Because like it says, pray without ceasing, man. All right. Constantly, putting your trust and your faith in YAHWASHI to deliver you from certain situations. Some things you'll pray to get through it, and it might just be a little longer than intended, but you're gonna go through things, like, because YAHWASHI, he asked the Lord that He take us not out of the world, because we got to deal with the world. We got to go through this to get to the next world, but that He keep us from evil. All right, He did ask that. So that's why the elect are going to be perfect in YAHWASHI's eye, because ultimately they're going to look past their sins, man. They're going to blot them out. All right? Because they're the ones who've been chosen from the foundation of the earth. They've been predestinated. But in these times, they're the ones that's giving YAHWASHI their reverence, man. The rest of the world is doing what the rest of the world is going to do, which is hating on the righteous because the righteous are not of the world, and marrying and giving into marriage. All right, revelings and partying and all of that, being in committing abominable acts, eating abominable foods. All right, and speaking blasphemy, shit. So I just wanted to hop into that real quick, man. We going through shit, brothers, but man, we gotta, constantly continue to pray. All right, David prayed when he was on a run and he was going through things. As you see, Daniel, he prayed when they got this petition or this decree, but he's still like, I'ma still pray. Like I said, he prayed that way aforetime. He ain't changed nothing up, because it's about the sacrifices that we have to make in order to serve YAHWASHI properly, man. And it's going to be damn well important when it comes to that hour of temptation, when they issue and mandate that MOTB and saying, well, you can't buy or sell, or you ain't going to eat or have a place to stay unless you get this in your hand or your forehead. We're going to have to just pray to YAHWASHI, give us strength and find a way and make a way. All right. Keep us safe, or allow us to endure to the end, even if we got to lose our life. Whatever the case is. But as of now, you're going to be going through similar situations where you're going to have to make sacrifices for the betterment of your pursuit of the kingdom, for lack of better words. All right. So with that, Lord willing, you was edified, and Lord willing, we allowed to endure to the end. Once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Shalom.